What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. I am Kalistos, bringing you another War and Order guide, and today we're going to be talking about the hottest topic in the game, which is the troops and the formations you're going to be using to win those battles. So let's kick in the intro and begin. Right, let's get to it. Before we can start talking about formations, we need to first look at the troops and what they can do. War and Order has 4 different types of troops available: archers, mages, infantry and cavalry. And each of those troop types comes in 2 races. And it's important to know that because each race has its own buffs. So let's look at each of them and discuss what those buffs are good for. Let's begin with the infantry. Now, to make it easier, instead of looking at races, you can also look at the tiers. I've posted both on the screen. So the even tier of troops are one race and the uneven are the other for each troop type. In the infantry cases, the uneven type of tiers are the human race and the even the orc race. And if we're looking at the buffs that each comes with, we're gonna realize already where you want to be using those troops or in which situation. The even buff from the troops from the orc race applies to generally any type of attack. So the extra buff we're gonna be getting for reduced damage from mages is gonna apply both in attack or defense, as it's not specified. Where the human race, as good as the buff comes with, it only applies when you are defending. So if you ever are attacking, then you want to be using the even type troops or the orc race from the infantry. Moving on to the cavalry, we're gonna see the same concept. The orcs or the even type of troops are designed for attacking, as their buff applies only when attacking, where the human race applies buffs for defending. So again, if you're gonna be attacking, you want to be using the orcs or the even tier troops. Next in line, we have the archers. Now here it's a bit different with the buffs, because both buffs apply no matter the situation. Now generally both races would be good when it comes to the archers, but personally I would always incline towards the elves, because the infantry will always be the front line that you're going to be facing first. So having that extra damage to get through that infantry and through the back line of the enemy is always the main priority. And last but not least, we have the mages. Now for the mages, we have the human race, which has a buff that applies in any situation, and therefore it can definitely apply to attacking, where the elf race is the one that has a specifically only defense type of buff. So here you want to be using the uneven or the human race from the mages. Okay, so now that we understand the buffs that each race and each troop type comes with, let's talk about which one do you want to be using. Okay, so first of all, we're gonna need a front line and a back line. The front line, we need it there to soak up all the damage from the enemy and give time to the back line to deal the damage. When it comes to the front line, the options that we have are the infantry or the cavalry. Now when it comes to the cavalry, these troops will become a viable front line very late in the game. So for early or mid game or even later, I would definitely advise you to focus on infantry and use that as your main front line. When it comes to the back line though, it gets a bit more complex, because both the mages and the archers are amazing backlines to have. But looking at the buffs that each troop type has, we can have an idea of what applies better to our playstyle. Archers have amazing buffs against other players. So if you are attacking castles and you are attacking other troop types, then the archers are a definite must have, as they are amazing to destroying that front line, which mostly are the infantry, and get to the backline and win you the battle. But when it comes to anything else, the archers kinda lag behind, because the buffs that make the archers so amazing do not apply to anything else but other troops. Now don't get me wrong, the buffs from the mages are also not that amazing outside of castle battles, but mages have a much higher DPS than the archers. So you're always gonna deal more damage than the archers if you're not attacking troop types. And considering that pretty much every event includes attacking monsters and more monsters, the higher DPS from the mages will give you the upper hand. So if you're looking for an all-round formation, I would advise to go for infantry mages. If you're just looking to kick butt and like a lot of confrontation with other players, then the infantry archers is your choice. And this is an important thing, because these little variations define on what's going to happen during the battle.